Hello, in this video we are going to be talking about Baltimore and what the local government there is doing recently. This segment was done on stream, and you can catch my streams on twitch.tv/Picklelyme. Also, one more thing. I have a new channel called Picklelyme VODs on YouTube that will basically just put the VODs from my Twitch channel onto my YouTube channel if you're too lazy to go to my Twitch. Also, if you aren't subscribed, please do so, it would help a lot. Alright, enjoy. Based. Baltimore will no longer prosecute drug possession, prostitution, and other low-level offenses. Good news. From what I've heard, it's apparently that Baltimore actually experiments with this during COVID, because when it came to like low-level offenses such as like drug possession and prostitution, they stopped enforcing those laws during COVID because they didn't want to overcrowd their prisons and for like COVID safety concerns, and it worked out really well. And had like a net benefit when it came to like effects on society. So they're just going to continue it permanently. Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby says the state will no longer prosecute for prostitution, drug possession, and other low-level offenses. Mosby made the announcement on Friday following her office's one-year experiment in not prosecuting minor offenses to decrease the spread of COVID-19 behind bars. Today, America's war on drug users is over in the city of Baltimore. We will leave behind the era of tough on crime prosecution and zero-tolerance policing and no longer default to the status quo to criminalize mostly people of color for addiction, said Mosby in an official press release. The experiment, known as the COVID Criminal Justice Policies, is an approach to crime developed with public health authorities instead of prosecuting people arrested for minor crimes like prostitution and public urination. Fucking piss on public, bro. The program dealt with these crimes as public health issues and works with community partners to help find solutions. Are there actually, Mosby says she intends to refocus law enforcement on more severe offenses like that plague the city and have contributed to its violent reputation. On Friday, Mosby announced that she was making her pandemic experiment permanent, saying Baltimore, for decades notorious for runaway violence and rough policing, had become a case study in criminal justice reform. In the 12 months since she ordered scaled back enforcement, violent crime is down 20% and property crime has declined 36%, she said. Homicides inched down, though Baltimore still has one of the highest homicide rates among cities nationwide. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University found sharp reductions in calls to police complaining about drugs and prostitution, she said. Clearly, the data suggests that there is no public safety value in prosecuting low-level offenses, Mosby said at a news conference. But Baltimore is one of the few big cities where violence did not increase. In dozens of cities, homicides and shootings rose in 2020. Prostitution definitely should not be illegal. There are obviously issues you have to deal with when it comes to sex work, because like sex trafficking and things like that. But it usually endangers prostitutes and sex workers more if you make the actions that they're doing illegal. Also, usually it's poor people that are doing this, single mothers, things like that. And you're hurting their children, and overall you're just adding to a cycle of poverty in these communities. There's a reason why poor communities have higher rates of prostitution and low-level offenses and things like that. Poverty causes crime. Everyone agrees on this. It's just something we really shouldn't be even prosecuting people for. Why should we care if someone is getting money for having sex or has some type of drug? If they just possess it, who cares what they're doing? That's a health issue. You should have rehabilitation centers and ways that they can help them, and you should have welfare programs to help the financially disadvantaged, and that will lower prostitution anyways. So things like this, of course, are really good, and I hope we get more and more results from Baltimore when it comes to this, and hopefully it yields some good results, as it has so far throughout 2020 and now 2021. Of course, it's not going to affect the homicide rate that much, but they did not have a higher rate of homicide or shootings as many other big cities did in 2020. So that is interesting, and maybe it has something to do with their approach on low-level offenses. Fund mental health institutions, fund rehabilitation centers, things such as that. Stop prosecuting low-level crimes.